Good day, postgraduate students and supervisors. My name is Rodney Duffett, and I've decided to make a new video to provide you an overview of the HDC digital process and the postgraduate documents. This video will be a bit more comprehensive than my previous video and will hopefully allow you to avoid making certain common errors or omissions which ultimately will cost your time, and so hopefully this will just save you some frustration in the administration process that we need to follow and get correct. So this presentation will firstly provide you with a brief overview of the Center for Postgraduate websites, which includes all of the necessary HDC documents as well as postgraduate information and documents which is useful for the students. It will then also take you through certain key elements of the HDC process, firstly by looking at the HDC hierarchy flow, and then probably the big three is the profile, or updating the profile is the first step for the students and supervisors, the topic and the proposal, which are all done HDC Digital. Ethics is done separately from HDC Digital and is a separate committee, but I'll also cover this, which is very important. And then I'll also look at interruption of studies and external examiner appointments. So let's go to the CPUT website, because that's our starting point. And from there, you click on Research, Center for Postgraduate Studies. And from there you can click on Higher Degrees Committee. And this will provide you with all the documents which used to all be manually completed before HDC Digital. Now many of them are still completed manually but uploaded on the HDC Digital platform, and others have been completely replaced by the HDC Digital platform. So the documents we'll be covering is registration of topic, and this is called topic on HDC Digital and this manual form has been replaced. Memorandum of understanding between students and supervisors. This manual form still needs to be completed, and then it will be uploaded on HDC Digital under the proposal stage, which I'll practically demonstrate later. This HDC 1.2 has also been replaced by the HDC Digital platform. However, there is an abbreviated form as well as several other documents that do need to be uploaded under the proposal stage of HDC Digital. Supervisions report, we won't cover this, but if students need a progress report for maybe bursary or work purposes, the supervisor could do this on HDC Digital platform. Then nomination of examiner is also completely been replaced by HDC Digital, and we will discuss this later. And then the other aspect I'm going to cover is application of interruption for studies. This has not been replaced by HDC Digital. The form needs to be manually completed and submitted to the postgraduate office. So those are the forms that I will cover. Now, to log on to HDC Digital, you would click on HDC Digital, and then you would click here to log on HDC Digital, and I usually make this a shortcut. As a student, you would enter your student number and password. As a staff member, it would be your username and your password. Right. And that's what my profile would look like from a student perspective. If you logged in as a student, this is what your profile, or this is what it would look like for you. But let's go back to the PowerPoint presentation first, because I need to take you through the HDC flow. So the topic and the proposal will start with the student. That is, once they've updated their profile, which we'll get to in a moment. Once they've uploaded their documents and filled in the information, they would allocate it to the supervisor, who would double check, and for the proposal upload additional documents, who would then send it to the HOD, who then sends it to the postgraduate office, and they will double check before it goes to the faculty research committee meeting. And yeah, so and then we would check again, and if we're happy, it would go to the Center for Postgraduate Studies, and then from there, the Higher Degrees Committee meeting. What's very important though is if you make a mistake or an error on any HDC submission or form, it could cost you 3 months, since the HDC only meets 5-6 times a year, and it will then could bounce back from this committee, which could have taken you 2-3 months to get to all the way back to the student, and then you have to repeat the process. So it's very important that you attempt to get everything correct upon your first submission. Just to show you the dates for 2018, and I emphasize that this is for 2018 dates. So the faculty research or faculty HDCs meet regularly, once a month, sometimes twice a month, and we'll probably meet October or November as well for the December graduation. So we meet fairly often. You're not going to waste too much time if something's sent back to you. But from the HDC or university HDC meetings, they only meet, you can see there's 6 meeting dates, and 2 of them are special meetings. And I don't even know if the August one will take place. I'm sure it will, because the September graduation, I believe, is going to be replaced by the December graduation. Please note these dates are for 2018. So, right, so now let's continue with the PowerPoint presentation. So the first step for the student is to log in, which I already have shown you how to do that. It's your your student number and your password. You get your password when you register, either in the online process or when you get your student card. But if you don't get your password at that stage, you can go to the 4th floor of the Commerce Building, and there's an office close to the Dean's office where you can get your password, or alternatively you can contact the help desk. You would then need to update your personal details, list all your post-school qualifications, so e.g. ND marketing and BTech marketing, but we'll get to that later. I'll practically demonstrate this. But what is important to note is it's only once you as the student have updated your profile can your HOD allocate you a supervisor. So you firstly need to go and update your profile, and if you already have a supervisor, you go to them and say, right, I've updated my profile. They can contact the HOD, who will then allocate them a supervisor, and then you're ready to start with your topic. So let's just practically demonstrate what I've said. As a student, you would you'd log in, you would see this, you would go to My Student Profile, and you would click Edit, and then you can update your details. So you upload your phone number, you could update your email address and whatever else. You could add another cell phone number, and very important is that you put all of your university or qualifications that are post-school. So ND marketing, BTech marketing, or ND human resources, BTech human resources, or whatever department you're in, you put both your ND and BTech, or if you've got honors and other things, it must all be there. Then you click Save. Profile's been saved, and right, you can go back here. Okay, so that's your first step. From a supervisor's perspective, so you would go to My Professional Profile. You would go down, and if you would click Edit, and then you need to update all of your personal information, responsibilities, your contact numbers, your supervision experience, your examination experience, publications, and expertise, and then you can update those details as well. Okay, so in the PowerPoint presentation, I've just said update your personal details, responsibilities, supervisor experience, examination, recent publications, area of expertise. Good to keep this up to date. It's almost like an online CV. Right, then once the students have updated their profile, the next step is to register your topic, and you do this via HDC Digital. I'll first take you through this this document, and thereafterwards I'll practically demonstrate what I'm saying. So one of the aspects you're going to need to fill in is your expected graduation date and completion of your thesis. And really, some students think that they're going to complete in a year or two, and in reality it takes longer. So my advice is that you fill in, you've got 5 years to complete, make the date far ahead. It does not matter if you finish early. But if you make the date too soon, what's going to happen is finally your proposal's ready and it gets sent to HDC, and the proposal is sent after your graduation date are ready for approval. In which case they'll probably send it back to you and you're going to need the dates, and that's a needless waste of time. So I just suggest you set the dates far in advance. Also, place your thesis title in sentence case, not uppercase. The committees don't like that, so use sentence case, do not use uppercase. The faculty HDC template talks a lot about your title. I'm just going to give you a few little tips and then we'll look at more later. But we generally look for context in the title. So where will the study be conducted? So is it going to be in Cape Town, the city of Cape Town, South Africa, Cairo, Nigeria? So add some context to your title. Also, do not use ing in your title. They don't like investigating or studying or analyzing. You could say maybe an analysis, that's fine. But also avoid use of words such as a study or an investigation or an inquiry, because all of them are studies, investigations, and inquiries. So the rule of thumb is KISS. Keep it short and simple. And I must tell you that probably half the faculty research committee's time is spent trying to get the titles to a shorter, simpler state and rectifying errors. So take special care with your title. Then you would also need to upload your full academic transcript, in other words your ND and BTech results, and you can get this from the Assessment Graduation Center. I've also just given some examples of titles of my postgraduate students, just to show you that it should be quite simple, to the point. They've all got context. They don't have words like an investigation or a study. So those are just a few examples. So let's go to a more practical demonstration. So as a student, once you've updated your profile, you'll see topic approval. Now you would see this waiting for student to release, but this student of mine is a bit further on, so they're waiting for the Center for Postgraduates to release. But we can still view it nevertheless, and you can see there the ND and BTech marketing displays. And right, so you would need to go down and you would see a tab here, click edit. Because she's already done that, you won't see it, but you click edit, and then your first step would be to enter your title. And you would enter your title. The next step would be to enter your expected date of completion of thesis and expected date of graduation. So rather go far in advance as she has, although she probably finished well in advance. It's just so that your document doesn't get sent back. Then you need to upload your full academic record. So you go to AGC, get your academic record, and then once that's done, there'll be a little tab. It says assign to. You would click the tab, and then you would say from student, you would assign it to supervisor. And then you would click save, and it would go to the supervisor. I'll illustrate that assigning when we look at the proposal stage. So that's all the topic is. It's quite simple. From when your topic's registered, your proposal should be completed within 6 months of that period. Okay. So let's go back to my research. Right then, once your topic's been registered, your next step is ethics. And you cannot submit your proposal on HDC Digital until you have ethical approval. So this is separate from HDC Digital, and yeah, it's separate from HDC Digital, and Prof. Tum Darko is the chair of this committee. The committee only meets 5 times a year. So let me just show you the dates for 2018. Here they are. So they've already met in February and in May. They meet in June and August and October, and there's very specific submission dates. So yeah, make sure you meet those dates. Then you cannot submit your proposal, as I've said, until you have ethical approval. You would email all your documents to fnbsethics@cput.ac.za, and the documents that you require to submit are as follows. Firstly, the departmentally approved proposal using the FHDC template. So let's have a look at this template now. You can also use it as your proposal template, but you could also use the CPUT template or a departmental template. But for ethics, you have to use the specific template, and it is a very, very good template to perhaps use for your proposal stage as well. So here is the template, and you put in your qualification, your name, your details, and here it gives you some good tips about your title. Should be concise, 12 to 15 words. Mention independent, dependent, locational variables, avoid words like analysis, investigation, explore, and study. So that's good. You'd add a supervisor, co-supervisor. It really gives you a good outline of what should go in the introduction, what should go in the problem statement, what should go in the rationale and significance, the aims and objectives, the research questions, the literature review, key concepts, research paradigm, method and methodologies, and it gives you tips. So it's really a great template to use as a proposal. Delimitations, demarcation of studies, methodology and processes, and ethical consideration, outline of thesis, the research plan, limitations, references. And what I want to point out here now is the summary, the 250-word summary. And this is the same 250-word summary in this template that you will use for your HDC digital proposal submission. And there are 5 subheadings that they need to see: problem statement, aims and objectives, research methods, research ethics, and significance of the study. So just keep that in mind. We'll come, back to this. So let's go back to the PowerPoint. So you would email your departmentally approved proposal. We'll get to the approval of the proposal when we get to the proposal stage. Then you need to attach a consent letter or permission letter, and usually your study in many cases has something to do with a company or a business or maybe another university. And this letter should preferably be on a business letterhead. But I've had circumstances where my students were using a small business and they didn't have a business letterhead. So if they don't have one, you could ask for a business card. Or you could ask for if they have a rubber stamp with their details, you can put that on. Now, as I say, if you're doing a small business, there's a chance that they may not have a letterhead, a business card, or a rubber stamp. Then the supervisor, upon your submission, is going to have to motivate and say, look here, these things do not exist, they're small businesses. But some of my students, for their small businesses, they wrote the letter out and got the business to sign it. And then, they could just say that there was no business card or letterhead or rubber stamp. But very important in that consent form that from each business you're doing, you obtain the name of the person, their position, or the business itself, the address, the telephone number, the email, they sign and date it, and you can sign and date it as well. So this is the biggest sort of problems in ethics, is because there isn't proper consent, or it's not extensive enough. So pay particular attention to this. Then there's a REC5 form which you need to fill in, and yourself, student, supervisor, and HOD needs to sign. You need to attach your draft instrument collection, so it's your questionnaire or interview guide, a Turnitin report of not more than 12%, and I would also submit your proof of registration. In 2017 it was necessary, in 2018 it doesn't have it, but rather be safe than sorry and just also submit the proof of registration. Okay, so you cannot progress to the proposal stage until you have completed ethics. The next stage is to complete the HDC digital proposal. So let's just go and have a look at that before I go through the PowerPoint from a student perspective. So yeah, your topic doesn't necessarily have to be approved before you do the proposal approval. You could submit your topic and proposal together, but you cannot submit the proposal until you've got ethics approval. So if the student was going to now update their proposal, they'll click New. And right, then to edit this, they can edit this immediately. So the first step you can see is to put the summary in. Okay, and as I said, the words that you need to use here, or the headings that you need to use, are as follows. Are these headings. Okay, these 5 headings you place in here, and your 250 word summary. Okay, your key terms is your next step. By the way, the summary is limited to 250 words. Key terms, I'd put 5 to 6 key terms. The CPUT guideline proposal says up to 10 terms, but I've had things returned to me because they said it was too much. So 5 to 6 is better. Here you upload your proposal, and we'll look at this now. You can use various templates. You can use the FHDC, in other words, the ethics template. You can use the CPUT templates or departmental template. You upload it here. Then you upload the MOU, and I'll look at all these documents after I've showed you. Then you upload your ethics approval. Very important is that you need to merge your ethics approval received from the ethics committee document together with your consent letter that you received from the company into one document. This is uploaded now. Then you'll probably, if you have received ethical clearance, you'll say yes. Data acquisition, if you're collecting data, you'd say yes. These reviewers are internal reviewers. So each department, your proposal needs to go to 2 people within the department. So if you search for let's just search for someone in my department. So say it was Hayden, you'd click and say it was Dr. Steenkamp. They will come up, right? And then you would need to upload the review form. And just coming back to these forms, the proposal the student can upload. The MOU, probably be the supervisor uploading the ethics forms. Both could be the student or supervisor that uploads these forms. They both have it. The review form, it would be the supervisor uploading, and we'll have a look at this as well. This gets uploaded here, and then now I'm showing you, you would say assign to once you've done to supervisor, and you'd click save, and then the supervisor could double check and upload the rest of the forms. Okay, so that's what it would look like. But now let's have a look at what these various forms entail. And in the interim, I'm just going to log out here and log in as a different student so I can show you what it looks like when it's complete. Right, we'll have a look. Let's go back to the PowerPoint presentation. So, as I said, between the student and supervisor, you would need to use 5 subheadings, and in 250 words, you would upload these. Let's escape and just go in as this student who's already waiting at CPGS, just to show you what it looks like once it's completed. So, you see, you use the subheadings: problem statement, aims and objectives, research methods, ethics, and significance of the study. If I go back to the PowerPoint, 250 words, generally are not included unless it's intrinsic. So my student here, it was intrinsic because he said the results will support or contradict the outcomes of these studies. But generally, they are not in-text references here. Then your keywords. So here he's entered their keywords, and then he's uploaded his proposal, his MOU, his ethics. These were the reviewers. The review form has been uploaded as well. Okay, so that's what it looks like when it's complete. So back to this PowerPoint presentation. So the proposals that you can use, the different templates that you can use, as I said, the CPUT, the FHDC, which you've already covered. So this is the FHDC, which is the same as the ethics. You can use this template as your proposal. Alternatively, which I actually prefer my students to use, is this guidelines for research proposal document, which is the CPUT one, which you would have got off the, the postgraduate documents, which I showed at the beginning of the presentation. And it has headings, the similar headings to the FHDC one, the faculty one: title, terms, statement, background, literature review, hypothesis, objectives, design, delentation, significance, expected outcomes, references, summaries. So it's the same summary as the FHDC, and keywords. And it gives you extra features. And then what's very good is it gives you a evaluation checklist for proposals. So once you complete it, you can go through these and see if you've completed everything. I believe that the faculty research one it has more detail in certain circumstances, and this more detail in others. So usually I ask my students to first complete the CPUT one because I believe it's more comprehensive, but they need to look at the faculty template as well. And then thereafterwards for ethics, they summarize this proposal into the faculty one and then submit to ethics. And then it's a choice of which one to use for the proposal. Anyway, some departments also have their own template, so you can also use that for the proposal stage. Then, so that needs to be uploaded. Then the MOU looks like this, which was 1.1. So again, you would fill in all your details: master's, doctorate, you just highlight it, bold it, students' details, the title, supervisor's details, and then, what milestones, expected dates, and I've completed some things here as an example. And you fill in all of these. And at the end of the day, the student signs, the supervisor signs, the HOD signs, it's scanned and it is uploaded. Then ethics, as I already mentioned, very important under ethics that this is a merge between your final approval, not provisional approval, it must be final approval, ethics certificate from the ethics committee combined with your consent letter, which should be on a letterhead or rubber stamped or with a business card, gets uploaded there. So here I just say ethics, must be include ethics and consent merged into one document. Then the current review form, before uploading, need the following aspects. So this form replaced the old 1.2 but gets uploaded, and this creates, people don't get the correct signatures and dates, can create problems for you. So let's have a look at this. It's at this review form. So the two people in your department who appear here, so in this case Dr. Hayden and Dr. Steenkamp, would be the same two people that appeared on this form. You need to put their qualifications in. Their recommendations would usually be to accept. It would be signed by your departmental research panel chair, and the date would be inputted here. Then the date on which the proposal was presented to the faculty, the first time it would be presented to the faculty is when it went to ethics. So the date your proposal served at ethics would be the date that you placed here. Okay, once you got your ethic approval, then the dates of which FRC minutes recorded is the date of the faculty research committee that it will serve at. And the date will obviously always be after the ethics date. So whichever faculty research committee, this is the date you place here. And then you need to get the chair of the faculty research committee to sign and date this before you upload it, and that would be Prof. Gavasu Iru, or in his absence Prof. Desai. So I just say what I've said practically is also illustrated in this PowerPoint presentation. Just to show you what a completed form, so this is a blank form, a completed form is this one. So you'd see you'd have the two review panel members, their qualifications. I wouldn't put this in uppercase, I would probably put it in sentence case next time, but accepted by the marketing department committee. the signature of the chair, the date at which it was presented. So this, you can see, was the 2nd of May, was when ethics met, and it served at the Faculty Research Committee on the 31st of the 5th, and you get the chair to sign. And yeah, that is the proposal stage. Right, let's go back here. Okay, we'll come back to that. And yeah, so that's what it looks like when it's completed. So from a student perspective, the two main aspects that they would be working on is topic approval and proposal approval, and particularly the proposal approval together with the supervisor who would need to upload certain of these documents. Okay, now sometimes a student wants to interrupt their studies. You cannot use the HDC digital platform. It does not work. You need to fill in a manual form should you wish to interrupt your studies. This doesn't happen too often, but sometimes unexpected circumstances come up, and we deal with these at the Faculty Research Committee, so I thought I'll just make you aware of it. So let's have a look at the PowerPoint. So interruption of studies, you would download the 1.9 form from the postgraduate website. This is not loaded onto HDC Digital, but a manual submission to the postgraduate office. You would enter your provisional title, even if it hasn't been finalized, you do that. You would provide a detailed reason for the interruption of your studies. The most common reasons are medical, financial, or work or employment related issues. And attach proof if possible. This document must serve at the Faculty Research Committee before the final registration date of postgraduate students. So if you come in June with this form, it's too late. It needs to serve February or March. It's only valid for 1 year, and if you take a break without applying for interruption of studies, you will lose a year. And remember, you only have 5 years for masters and 6 years for doctorate, so you can't afford to lose a year. Just to show you in brief what the form looks like. So you'd fill in your names, your details, you'd fill in a provisional title. So often people haven't even got to the title stage. Just fill in a provisional title, even if you haven't registered as a topic. And the supervisor would fill in the details. It can only be for 1 year. It can't be for 2 years. We get applications where they say they're going to be away for 2. It cannot. Fill in your new date. Supervisor comments signed by students, supervisor and HOD. And then this gets sent to, and you can get the head of research to sign as well, and then this gets submitted to the postgraduate office. Right. And then the last aspect that I'm going to cover is the HDC Digital for external examiners. This doesn't have anything to do with students because it will be the supervisor who appoints appoints the external examiners or uploads them. So you can only appoint external examiners once the proposal has been approved by HDC. So you cannot, while you're busy waiting for your proposal to be approved, you cannot appoint. It will bounce back to you. Only the supervisors complete this section, so it's got nothing to do with the students. And I will practically demonstrate how to do this in a moment, but just to take you through the process. Complete all of the external examiner's personal details by clicking on the personal profile. So all of their contact details, addresses, qualifications, etc. you'll enter. However, the area that takes us a lot of time at Faculty Research Committee meetings is that supervisors insist on providing the details of all the M&D students supervised and the details of the M&D students they examined. We only want the numbers. Only the numbers. So if they've supervised 1 D student and that is successfully, in other words, finished supervising, and 5 masters, that's what you put. 1 doctorate, 5 masters. If they've examined 2 doctorate and 10 masters, then you put 2 doctorate and 10 masters. Do not provide the students' names and details We don't want that, and we'll send it back to you to do that. Sometimes we're kind and we actually count the number and fill it in for you, but that is just making our meetings longer. And then recent publications, don't list 50 of the publications of the examiners, just the latest 6 need to be listed, and use the Harvard reference technique. It's usually journal articles, but it could possibly be a chapter of a book as well. So to practically demonstrate what I'm saying, this is from a student perspective, from a lecturer perspective. Let's just go in and select a student that I can. So here we go. Let's just go down to the same student we've been working on. New, so you want to do this, so I would go in here as a supervisor, and then you would click new profile, and here you would enter all the details, their title, their first name, their initials, if they have a staff number of this external examiner. So they may have a staff number because they were previously appointed. And if they were previously appointed, you won't need to complete all these details again, but I'll show you the responsibilities is to examine where they come from and their qualifications. But here you would put if they supervised 5 masters, 1 doctorate. That's all you write, 5 masters, 1 doctorate. Examination experience, you could write 10 masters, 2 doctorates, and then you would list the 6 publications, the expertise and whatnot, and then you'd click save. However, if there were a supervisor already, you could search for them. So say, let's just see, say I wanted to use, okay, it doesn't come up. So Deirdre Godot or something like that, or a supervisor that you've used in the past, they could already have a profile which you would just need to update. Yeah, and then from there you would assign it once you've uploaded you have to upload your 2 examiners separately for master students and your 3 examiners separate for doctorate students. So each time you would have to upload 3, and then you would allocate to HOD and click save, and then your HOD would forward it on to the next committee. Right. Right, and then just in conclusion, I hope that this presentation will make it easier for you and students and supervisors to complete the postgraduate process without wasting time of having your submissions returned. Having said this, it's very important to double and triple check before you submit things. And I think there's many cases where, especially for the topic, the supervisor doesn't even check what the student has uploaded. And it's very important that they do so. And then this hopefully will reduce the length of our meetings, which are on average 4 hours, because we spend a lot of time rectifying errors so that we don't have to send submissions back to students and supervisors, but we don't always have the time to do that. So I thank you for your time, and I hope that this presentation was helpful.